Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show and a Manager Matt Friday Thought. Yes, another one is back. A time for me to just reflect on what has happened over the last few weeks and get your opinion and feedback about a simple management concept or principle. This week, I want to talk around something that came very much in vogue a few years ago, but doesn't seem to get mentioned as much now. The idea of autonomous teams. So let's just go back in time and think about what happened there. So the autonomous team model came out mid-90s, probably early 2000. There was a lot of publications, a lot of books around the fact that if you got yourself in a position as a leader, you could get your team to be completely autonomous, looking after itself, making its own decisions, planning how it could be done, almost doing the manager out of a job. Because why would you need a manager or a leader if the team could do it itself? So the idea was that if you gave people the skills, developed the right culture, and set certain parameters, the team would get on and do it very much on its own. Now, I think a lot of these concepts are still alive and still work in a modern workplace. A lot of people are not managed directly with a leader. A lot of people in the knowledge sector work very much independently and like it that way and are productive that way. But when it comes down to the idea of a team of people, the traditional team, the team sat in an office space or on a shop floor or on a working area like in a retail store, then that is a team. Are they really autonomous? You could argue that there's a lot more technology now that allows people to be autonomous, even on the shop floor. You use WhatsApp, you use messages, you've got FaceTime, you've got Word and Microsoft, which means that it's a lot easier for people to be autonomous and control from a distance. But is control from a distance similar or different to autonomy? The idea of autonomy is they make fuller use of their own skills and make their own decisions. Now, does that really happen? Does that happen in workplaces? Well, I would argue there is an element of autonomy. People are expected and measured about getting things done on their own. But true autonomy, the true essence of autonomy, is not there than what I've seen. It still relies on a leader or a manager to be there. There's almost a feeling that if that manager isn't there, that things don't actually happen, that people would just stop and wait. Now, you could say that's down to the way that the business is set up. It could be down to the structure. Does anybody step through and make the choices if they didn't turn up? What you should really think, if you want to challenge your own autonomy in your own business, if tomorrow nobody in a position of leadership turned up. So no team leader, no area process leader, no shift manager, no operations lead. Nobody turned up. Would the business start? Would work happen? Or would it just wait? There is the first challenge of autonomy. And if by chance, and maybe by design, the business did start working and did get going, what level of output would it get? What buy-in would it be? Could a flat structure with very little or no leadership make a collective decision to make things right? Or would they default to wait? Would they be able to get things going and then just sort of drift? How much output would there be? Would there be more output without the constant input of area leaders and team leaders? It's a challenge, dear. Now, a lot of people aren't going to do that. There's not a lot of teams that would be brave enough to try that or stupid enough to try that, because we all know that the hierarchy is ingrained in us as a species. Everyone needs leaders, or do we? Again, questioning. But we do. There's a leadership presence in everything we do. If that's in the councils that we have in the UK, leading, the government has leaders. And in business, there's still a CEO, a CFO. They're there doing something. They're not just expecting it to happen. So is autonomous teams something that a kind of university person, a professor, has written a book about and there's no real promise to it? Or is that really the future of where we're going to go? Are we ever going to get to the fact that we have autonomy and autonomous teams? I would argue that I believe there is elements of autonomy that you have to work for to make really happen. You have to give people the tools, the characters have to be there, the culture needs to be there that will make those decisions. And that starts by not blaming when things go wrong, have a strong training culture, and have leaders who devolve and coach teams beneath them to make those decisions when they're not there. Now, a lot of the times, the leaders and managers are not directly on the shop floor. They're doing other things. If you're in a pub, your pub manager's probably ordering stock, talking to the brewery, dealing with all sorts of things around the business, and are not sat behind the bar. So there's an autonomy in the bar. In my function as an operations manager in my past, I would expect my teams to be producing and working when I'm not there. It's great to have a presence and you want to be there and seen, but you don't need to be there necessarily every single day, an hour, because that does drive the fact that they're looking at you. When a problem comes up, you need your people to have good problem-solving tools who can look and say, how do we fix this on our own? How do we make it happen in a safe and quality-driven environment? If they don't do that, then you're not doing your job as a leader. How can you ever be able to turn your back without it just stopping? And if you're in that position where you can't turn your back without it stopping, you need to step back and just challenge those things. Are you training your team? Are you giving them the tools and techniques to be able to deal with issues? Are you giving them off-ramps and escalations when things really hit the whatever? Because the parameters you set are a key. If you have got very tight parameters and every decision needs to go through you, then you are going to get challenged all the time to make those decisions. If you have a wider remit and a wider channel for people to make decisions, then you can allow those people to make decisions, trust them with their skills to make the right decisions, even when you're not watching. Back to the idea of culture. Culture is things that happen, behaviours that happen when you're not watching. So autonomy, to me, is there. Full autonomy? No, we're not there. And will we ever get there? Very difficult to say with the way that humans are, that we could fully let go and allow people to do it without hierarchy, without even a simple hierarchy, a very, very flat structure, which a lot of businesses have tried to get to. I think we'll still struggle because we are not quite bred that way to be able to make those decisions and have their autonomy in the teams. But of course, as ever, this is my Friday thought. But what are your thoughts? What do you think about autonomous teams? Are they working for you? Do you have a hybrid model? Is there a better way? Drop me a line at managermattpodcast@gmail.com or put a post on LinkedIn. You'll find me at Matthew Haddock. Because I'd be really interested in your thoughts about autonomy, all the areas of team and how you can build a successful team, and obviously anything else that you'd like to have a conversation around or even just ask some questions. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Manager Matt and my Friday thought. Thank you so much for listening and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.